Science and the Bible are often portrayed as being in conflict. Many people believe that modern science has made belief in the Bible outdated and that one can't believe both. But is that really true? In this series, we're going to look at some of the biggest questions about our universe and examine where science provides answers and where it may reach its limits. A common claim today is that scientific knowledge has essentially replaced the deity of God. The idea is that as science advances, it explains more and more about the universe, leaving less and less room for any kind of divine explanation. But this assumes science is capable of answering every kind of question. As we'll see, that assumption itself is a philosophical leap, not a scientific one. To understand this claim, we first have to understand what science actually does. Science uses a process known as the scientific method. Scientists observe the natural world, form a hypothesis, and test those ideas through repeatable experiments. This process has allowed humanity to make incredible discoveries. For example, Isaac Newton's law of universal gravitation was repeatedly tested by observing planetary orbits and falling objects. It still accurately predicts motion on Earth and in the solar system. This is a triumph of observation, hypothesis testing, and verification, exactly what science is designed to do. But the scientific method also has an important limitation. Science studies the natural world. It relies on things that can be observed, measured, and tested repeatedly. That means science is incredibly powerful when it comes to understanding how the natural processes work. But questions about ultimate origins, like why the universe exists at all or why the laws of physics are what they are much harder to explain. Science can describe the mechanisms inside the universe, but it operates within the universe and its laws. It cannot step outside of those laws to explain why they exist. For example, modern cosmology widely accepts the Big Bang Theory, which suggests that the universe had a beginning. The scientific consensus, backed by expansion of the universe and other evidence, is that the universe began from an extremely hot, dense state roughly 13.8 billion years ago. Interestingly, the Bible also begins with the claim that the universe had a beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, Genesis 1:1. The person who first proposed the scientific version of this idea in 1927 was himself a Belgian Catholic priest and physicist. He called it the primeval atom hypothesis and was careful not to present it as proof of Genesis. In fact, he asked the Pope to stop using it in that way apologetically, insisting science and faith answer different kinds of questions. Now, that doesn't prove the Bible is true, but it does show that some of the biggest questions about our universe, like how it began or why it exists, may go beyond what science alone can explain. Science describes the what and the how after the beginning, but the Bible addresses the ultimate why and who. This also doesn't mean science and faith are enemies. In fact, many early pioneers of science believed that studying nature was a way of understanding the order of creation. One famous example is Isaac Newton, whose work helped shape modern physics. He saw gravity and the orderly laws of nature as evidence of a rational creator who upholds the universe. Newton was not alone. Astronomer Johannes Kepler said of his work in planetary motion, "I was merely thinking God's thoughts after him." Robert Boyle, father of modern chemistry, founded the Royal Society with the explicit goal of showing the glory of God in creation. These giants of science viewed the scientific method itself as a Christian vocation, investigating the rational, law-governed world that God made. This episode isn't meant to prove that the Bible is true. Instead, it sets up an important idea. Science is an incredibly powerful tool used for studying the natural world, but it is not designed to answer every question, and by definition cannot explain anything beyond the natural world observable to our five senses. And while science logistically cannot be used as a weapon against Christianity, it can provide critical evidence to support it. Evidence which we will discuss in future videos, so follow for more.